wait is almost over, folks. The Seattle Seahawks rookies report to training camp today. Welcome into this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. With the rookies making their arrival, we are going to give you our top 5 rookies to watch at Seahawks training camp. We're still a few days away from actual practices beginning. That'll start up next Wednesday, but we want to take a moment to highlight the new young players that catch our eye heading into 2025. We'll tell you about those players to watch coming up in just a matter of moments here on today's show. Before we do, folks, if you're excited for Seahawks football, I'm so ecstatic, my friends, then go ahead and like today's video. Let's get at least 500 likes on this video, folks. And what tends to happen when we have these new players that come on board, usually they want to hear what the fan base and what the media is having to say about them, whether it's themselves or their friends or family. We want to make our voices heard loud and clear that we're rooting on these guys, that we support them and wish them nothing but the best as they begin their journey here with the Hawks. Hit that like button. We'll get started with today's show. The Seahawks rookies report to training camp at the VMAC in Renton, Washington today. And basically to kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on, with no actual practices till next Wednesday, this is kind of like when you start a new job and go into orientation. I've done this many times before, where you have onboarding week where you kind of can just sleep through it and just go through the motions of sorts. I hope that isn't the case with these guys, that take the next few days seriously, but that's essentially what's going on with these rookies from now until Wednesday, when actual practice starts, until the veterans arrive and all that, getting their key cards, maybe going through some sexual harassment training or something like that. You get the idea here. So with that, who are the rookies to watch for the Seattle Seahawks? Let's start with none other than Jalen Milroe at the quarterback position. He is the number one rookie that I have my eye on here as we begin training camp. And the thing with Jalen Milroe that we've seen, from whether it was at rookie minicamp to OTAs to mandatory minicamp, he continues to grow step by step. And Clint Kubiak has said that when he looks at Jalen Milroe, from who he was at the start of rookie minicamp to the end of mandatory minicamp, that he is already taking some huge steps in the right direction, and that he's been out there on the practice field and doing things that aren't even asked of him, putting in the hours, and that he's really impressed to this point. Nobody's expecting Jalen Milroe, I think, to come in and be the starting quarterback in 2025. This is not a situation, I have to remind folks of this all the time, of when Russell Wilson came in and beat out Matt Flynn. For one, Sam Darnold's a much better quarterback than Matt Flynn, and Russell Wilson had a lot of starting experience under his belt at 2 different schools. You look at Jalen Milroe, he's only played 2 seasons of full sample size at Alabama, and there was some ups and downs. You look at what he did in 2023, and he got benched early on. Eventually earned that job back, took Alabama to the college football playoff, threw for 23 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. But then last year, under new head coach Kalen DeBoer, you can see his numbers took a step back a bit as he threw for 16 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. But we know that he's got a great rushing ability. Nobody's arguing that. 20 touchdowns on the ground for a running back is crazy. Then you're telling me he's a quarterback doing that. That's just insane, folks. With 4.3 yards to carry, 726 yards. There is going to be a role for him within this offense. And we've been told that Sam Darnold is still going to play about 90% of the snaps, and that Jalen Milroe will be a quarterback. He's not going to be a Taysom Hill type. But what are they going to do over these next some odd weeks to carve out that role and find where Jalen Milroe exactly fits in this offense? And can he do enough to prove the coaches that he deserves to be the QB2 over Drew Lock? It's going to be fascinating to see how that all unfolds for Jalen Milroe here in the coming days ahead. Do you believe in Jalen Milroe? Be honest with me. Let me know in our pinned comment today. Type B for believe, D for don't. You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. Get your votes in and let us know if you believe in Milroe or not. Folks, we're going to be all over training camp here on Seahawks Today. We are your training camp headquarters. I'm going to be taking a vacation in a couple days, but if any news happens while training camp starts, we're going to bring you a video as quick as we can here on the channel and catch you up to speed with everything you need to know. We will have training camp covered through every single way possible. We have our live shows, of course, going on 3 days a week, our daily news and rumors, breaking news, Q&A mailbags. It's all right here on your one-stop shop for all things Seattle Seahawks. Subscribe now for free. Let's get at least 20 subs off today's video to be a part of our continuing training camp coverage here on the channel. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. You'll be glad you did. Next up, we find Nick Emmanwori at the safety position. He's number 2 on my list. And at the time of this recording, he actually is unsigned. He, along with Elijah Arroyo, are among 30 second-round picks in the National Football League that have not signed deals yet to this point to their rookie contracts as they are fighting to get guaranteed money. And it's not a knock on those two necessarily. It's more of an agent-to-team thing of how we got to this point, basically starting with how the Texans handled their situation and a trickle-down effect from there. But I have no worries about Nick Emmanwori showing up and all that. I think that they're going to figure this out here sooner than later, so I'm not too concerned. But when we actually get to the football field product of Nick Emmanwori, there remains a mystery of what exactly his role is going to be within this Seattle Seahawks defense. He was primarily a safety at South Carolina, but he's got experience at nickel, at outside corner, at outside linebacker, and at inside linebacker. And when talking about him, Mike Macdonald has said, we're going to play him wherever we need him. And you already have 2 established safeties in Kobe Bryant as well as Julian Love. All right? So then, could it be a number 3 safety? Could it be playing some nickel? Could it be one of those other spots potentially? We don't know exactly, but I think over the next few weeks ahead and into the preseason, we're going to get a better idea of what exactly that is. No matter what, I expect him to be very productive. And we saw that with the numbers that he put up there at South Carolina last season with 4 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, 6 pass breakups, 88 tackles. The year before that, 2 interceptions, 10 pass breakups, 71 tackles. Emmanwori was that dude, and they're going to find a way to get him on the football field one way or another. Next on our list, the other player that is unsigned at this point is Elijah Arroyo at the tight end position. And think about this for Elijah Arroyo here. I think everybody's wondering how quickly can he develop, because the best case scenario for Elijah Arroyo is for him to come along pretty fast, to move up that depth chart and play a big role in this offense. And here's what I exactly mean by this, folks, because Noah Fant is not the future. Noah Fant, we know for certain, is not going to be back after this year. So if Elijah Arroyo can come in right away and pass up A.J. Barner to be the number 2 tight end, and then potentially pass up Noah Fant, then your future all of a sudden starts now, and you roll with the punches and start to grow with Elijah Arroyo right away. But if his development, if it takes him a bit to catch on, then all of a sudden you need Noah Fant potentially to get through this year. If Arroyo looks really good, then you could go ahead and potentially move on from Noah Fant and try to get something out of him and get that contract off the books if Arroyo comes along. But that all remains to be seen. The talent level is there. He was the number 37 overall player and number 3 tight end on Mel Kiper Jr.'s pre-draft big board this year. Second team All-ACC selection. And had this not been a historic year for tight ends, when you're talking about being in the same draft class as Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren, Elijah Arroyo probably would have been a first-round pick, but kind of bad timing for his part. But what is bad timing for him is Seattle's gain. They're getting a guy that is going to give you opportunities to stretch the field a bit. And you think about the numbers that he put up last year with 17 yards of reception. Seattle is still looking for kind of that DK replacement of sorts. And I know there's been talk about MVS potentially being that. You know, Cooper Kupp and JSN don't really play that role. It's already been talked about by Clint Kubiak of those routes that DK ran in the past might actually be filled by Elijah Arroyo potentially, which would help this offense quite a bit if they can get that out of him. Who is your favorite Seahawks rookie? If you had to name one player, who would it be and why? Weigh in the comments section and give me that name that comes to mind for Seattle. We have an insane deal, my friends, that we're offering right now. We have this short sleeve hoodie that was $55. Now it's just $33. At chatsports.com/Seahawks sale is where you can get this today. And I know it's a little warm outside, but it is a short sleeve. And if it's still too hot for you to wear this, folks, just go ahead and put it in the closet for a bit and bring it back out later, and you will thank yourself for doing so. We also have other Seahawks merchandise available at that same link. Go see for yourself now. Chatsports.com/Seahawks sale to get yours today. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. That's chatsports.com/Seahawks sale to get yours now. Up next is Tory Horton. We did not see a ton of Tory Horton in the offseason program, but now he's expected to be fully healthy and be a full participant in training camp over the next several weeks. And in an ideal world, Tory Horton passes up MVS on the depth chart. I have made it no secret my issues with MVS. I do not trust a player that played in subpar to bad receiving cores in Kansas City and Buffalo, two of the best organizations in football, and got cut from both of them. All right? If he's not good enough for their situations and for those two teams being some of the standards in the NFL, why is he good enough for Seattle here? All right, I have my concerns about MVS, to say the least. I know he had a bit of a decent run there towards the end in New Orleans, but New Orleans was a bit of a shaky situation. They didn't have a ton of talent there. So if Tory Horton can come in and pass up MVS, then I feel a lot better about this situation and what he could potentially do. Talent is not the issue, I think, with Tory Horton. All right, he was well on his way prior to that season-ending injury last year. There was talk about him being an All-American heading into 2024 off of back-to-back All-Mountain West conference selections there at Colorado State. And the production was extremely high as well. And this is somebody that you're talking about stretching the field vertically. He can also be used in the slot. He's kind of a do-everything guy. He can also help you out in special teams as well. Back-to-back seasons with over 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns in 2022 and in 2023. I'm a fan of Tory Horton. Hopefully he's fully healthy and can make an impact there. Last on our list is Gray Zabel. And I'll say this. I have Gray number 5 on here because if we're talking about rookies to watch, how many of you, be honest with me, are paying that close attention to the offensive line? Gray Zabel is no question the most important pick Seattle has, but at the end of the day, he is still an offensive lineman here. So that's why we put this at number 5 here. Like, when you're watching a football game, they go away from showing the offensive lineman pretty fast. There's only so much that we, with our own eyes, or in my case, 4 eyes, can actually watch of the offensive lineman. So that's why we have him 5 here. All right, not a knock on him at all. There will be growing pains. I think there is this thought process that you bring in Gray Zabel, and he slides into that left guard spot, and everything is going to be fixed all of a sudden. And I'm here to tell you that, well, I'm optimistic, and I think that Gray Zabel will be an upgrade over Laken Tomlinson. This is going to take time. Remember, he's learning a whole new position, folks. He played left tackle at North Dakota State. He dominated in the Senior Bowl, playing the guard spot. But this, my friends, I think is not just an overnight thing that he's going to be a superstar right away. He could be very good, but history tells us that offensive linemen usually take a while to develop. You look at what he's done. 2 national titles, first-team All-American, first-team All-Mountain, All-Missouri Valley Football Conference selection. Oh, and did I mention, he played in the FCS. He didn't play in the Southeastern Conference where it means more. All right? He didn't play in the Big Ten. Hell, he didn't play in the Big 12 or the ACC. He played in the FCS. Going from the FCS to being a starter in the National Football League, that is a big jump. However, I don't care what level of football you played in. These type of numbers are a really good sign for him. Only 1 sack allowed, a 90.4 overall grade, a 93.1 pass block grade, an 86.5 run block grade. That's really good. And there were concerns about his arm length coming out of college. Well, the guard position helps at that. He's not being asked to play tackle. So I like Gray Zabel, but stay patient. Stay patient. Don't overreact if he has a couple bad practices, because there's a pretty good chance that could happen. Is Gray Zabel the Seahawks' best rookie? Sound off in the comments. Let us know. Y for yes, N for no. Chime in and let me know what you think. Final thoughts here, folks. I think this is an exciting time. This is the best draft class we've seen in years in Seattle. And now we go forward here with a lot of optimism about the direction of this team. They've already built this thing with a young core as is. And now you bring in quality players to add to that young core with a second-year head coach in Mike Macdonald here. I think there's a lot of reason to be optimistic and excited about the direction of this team. Now let's see the fruits of their labor pay off. Let's see them make it happen and go forward from here. If you enjoyed today's show, you want to show some love to those Seahawks rookies, hit that like button. We certainly appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.